I'm going to ask you both the question. Manchester City have dropped points again for the whatever time it is in January. Their next fixture is against Liverpool. Is the title over today, or is the title officially over next week?
Title is over next week. The title is over next week because Liverpool are going to beat them, in my opinion. Liverpool are going to beat them at Anfield, and I think the title will be done there. 3 point. If Arsenal beat Sunderland, I think, and then a 9 points, 3 game swing. Arsenal ain't no mugs, mate. They're not dropping that. We can call them bottle, blah, 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 as much as they want. Arsenal are not letting a 3 game swing go. And people still, in 2026, think Man City have 10 wins in a row in them, bruv. 10 wins, 15 wins. They've done it before. This team ain't doing that. I think it was massive today, you know what I mean, for them not to win. But all it did is highlight. It didn't really do much in terms of the points because 6.2 games, okay. But it just highlights that City are just not going to have the consistency, bro. They're not going to have enough consistency to topple Arsenal. Arsenal have to get real bad for City to win this league. Like, a lot of people think it's just like in City's hands. Oh, City just win their games. And Arsenal have to get real bad for them to win it. And look, City have had good moments this season. They've had some exciting moments. But all in all, they're just not a good enough team, in my opinion, to win the league. And that's why I maintained that Arsenal will win this title, despite the way, okay, Arsenal might not be doing it in the prettiest fashion, and everyone can have that debate, but Arsenal are still the best team. They're still the best team in the league, and I think they'll go on to win this league. And you just look at some of their frailties, and people are going to point at Haaland, and people are going to point at certain things, but I look at Pep Guardiola sometimes, man, not in a new light, but it kind of sometimes feeling like the game is kind of moving away from him a little bit. And when I'm watching him sometimes, like, one thing that I always used to associate with Pep was how good he was as well at in-game changes. You know, Pep could be under the cosh and he'll bring on an attacker and all of a sudden City will go off and win the game. That was like what Pep would do in his prime. Or he'll bring someone else in, drop someone in midfield, or switch it up quickly. Nowadays, I feel like I just see Pep watching City getting turned over, and he's not making no changes. I was typing in my group chat, is Pep really just going to sit and watch Spurs do this? And then Spurs end up getting their goal. Their second goal is Solanke. The tide was turning. Spurs didn't score against the run of play. The tide was turning, and Pep just doesn't make anything like proactive changes anymore. He kind of just stands there.
I think he's tired of everything.
I wouldn't blame him if he is. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bad manager or anything like that. This is a legend. You know what I mean? I'm not going to disrespect him. But I just think in terms of, have we seen the best of Pep? I believe so. And I wouldn't be surprised if he never wins another Premier League again. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's going to probably leave next season anyway. I don't know if he's going to win another league. And that's not me to say that he's a bad manager. I just think, I don't know. I'm just looking at it. I think the game has caught up with him. I think teams are now getting closer to Pep's side. Before, it never really felt like teams were.
I think you're seeing that even this season, though, in the pattern of the second half, how much you see City drop off always. I think there was a stat that came up in the game. They conceded 16 goals in the second half in comparison to 6 in the first half.
Yeah, and you look at his loyalty like
to Bernardo.
Loyalty to Bernardo. And I'm sorry, Rodri, I feel like every time I watch him, he's a walking red card these days. Like, he's getting booked. He's late to tackles. He should have been off today, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he's got this loyalty to Rodri, of course. He's got this loyalty to Bernardo. But again, Pep at his best. And once I'm done with you, you're off. You've given me your service, bam, you're gone. And it doesn't really feel like that anymore. Like Aguero, Sterling, these guys, I'm done with you now. Go find somewhere else to play. Yeah. You know? And this loyalty is something that Klopp started showing, and we criticise Klopp about it, that you got a bit of loyalties to the wrong players sometimes. And I think that we've seen that. See, now, can they go and refresh? Well, listen.
They've been trying to refresh for the past 3 windows.
How much in the January? They bought Semenyo, the one of the best players outside the top 6. One of the best performing players this season. They bought Mark Gahey, another player that's one of the best players in his position outside the top 6. It's like, for me, all it's going to be is, can City continuously buy the best? And in this day and age now, bro, the margin between the best and the mid is not that far. It's not that far off.
I think when I look at City, I think the point that you made that stands out for me is today's result wasn't about, okay, they're not good enough to catch up. Like you said, for me, it's the character. I think the character is a big thing. I don't think Arsenal are as weak as people are making out. They're going to capitulate that league. And I also don't think that City have enough character in them to do what needs to be done. Because if they did, they'll be doing it right now. It's not magically, the penny's not going to magically drop and then they click into gear. And I think we often give City champions respect and respect their legacy in the sense that this is what they've done over and over and over again. But listen, the good thing about the old days is the old days.
It happens.
Nothing lasts forever. And at every single legacy or thing you see in the Premier League, at some stage, it's going to end. Man United had this league in a headlock. What happened? It ended. Jose Mourinho came, shook things up. What happened? It ended. City had this run where, come rain or shine, they're going to slap teams 10 games in a row. Guess what? It's not happening anymore. It's not happening. Everything is going through a reset. And we've always said, the teams that capitalize in those moments are the teams that are going to do something well. I think a lot of people talking at the moment saying that Arsenal won't be worthy winners, etc. I don't buy into that, because when it comes down to it, they're the team that primed themselves the position to be closest anyway. Everyone else could have done that.
Do you remember when like Man City were at their best, right? You go and try and do like a Premier League 11. Yeah. You feel like you could have 9 of their players at least in there. Yeah. You feel like, oh, okay, some Liverpool players are going to sneak in, but the rest are Man City. Yeah. It doesn't feel like that. It's not that anymore. It's not that anymore. Do you get where I'm coming from? If you were doing a Premier League 11, it's not just going to be flooded with, oh, City here, City. And then even if it's somebody else in midfield, the second option would have always been, oh, another City player. Yeah. It's not that anymore. Yeah. The teams, people are getting closer to Man City. You know what I mean? So when you look at it, he doesn't have that abundance of quality as well. We have to say that. As much as I'm saying about Pep, the quality of Manchester City is the high-end quality. It's gone down. It's not the same. You know what I mean? As it once was. He gave Foden a 3-minute cameo today. That's damning.
He's lost faith in him.
He dropped him the other day, dropped him again. Yeah. Now he's giving him 3-minute cameos. And that's dark. And you look at, for example, Erling Haaland as well. You got, in these moments, I call you the best goal scorer the Premier League's ever seen. In these type of moments, you gotta get them over the line. So you gotta find a way. Now, Haaland has never been I'm gonna get the ball, run past 2 and bang it into the bottom bins. But at the same time, you've got to kind of find a way. And sometimes it does feel like sometimes he can go missing in these type of fixtures. But I just think overall, the quality of other teams I've caught up to City. City's high end has come down to their level as well. And I think at the same time, Pep, he might even just need a little refreshment.
I think this is guy that it was used to taking sabbaticals.
Because do you think Man City will win Champions League?
No. I don't think they'll be able to go deep enough to win the Champions League.
I mean, there's no. You can't rule them out completely.
You can never rule them out, but I don't think. I think based on what I've seen from this season, I can see them.
I wouldn't put them as one of the favourites. Yeah,
exactly. But what I was going to ask you is, because a lot of what we're talking about is City typically go in cycles where, like you said, they get rid of the top 10 talent and bring in new blood. Would you say that this City rebuild has been a failure then? Because they've not managed to rebuild.
Oh, you talking about since the treble?
Yeah, they've not managed to rebuild the great team.
Look, I think so. If you consider how much they spent in January, you think about how much they spent in January, you think about now, those players that they've signed now, like Donnarumma, Cherky, etc., they can probably be part of something in the future. Is that going to be under Pep?
Well, I don't think so. Well, this is where I want to pause you, because when they signed Guehi, Pep, Pep always talks. He always talks in this language. He's like, that's a player that will be here for 5-6 years. Gone. And it's like, why are you speaking like that? Yeah. It almost feels like he's saying, you know what?
He's preparing the next.
I'm preparing the next thing with some of these signings, or maybe the club's preparing.
Klopp did with Slot.
Yeah.
But you know what is you know what's funny, right? The way you look at when Pep Guardiola in his prime, the only teams to really stop Pep Guardiola were so different to a Pep Guardiola side. Like Conte. Klopp, Conte, Jose Mourinho. Anyone that actually won against Pep were very different to his sides, right? The way the game went, everybody used to beat to Pep's drum, right? Everybody followed Pep. Everybody was trying to be a Pep, right? And Pep was the best at being what he was, right? You can't be him. The game was going his way. The passing, everybody wanted to play out from the back.
High press.
The game has changed. The game has now moved to transitions. It's physicality. It's athleticism. And Pep, for the first time in his career, is now playing catch up to something that he hasn't dictated. The game's not moving to how the puppet master no more. You ain't got the strings no more. And the game has moved away from that. Now Pep is looking at other teams and saying, "Oh, that's the model." Are you saying
Pep is outdated?
I think he's getting there, yeah. And why not? It happened to Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger rewrote the rule once upon a time, and then it caught up to him. Jose Mourinho came in with the 4-3-3, and then it caught up to him. Fergie got out before it was too late. Fergie said, "Yeah, you got David Silva and them, Aguero and them. Yo, let me win one real quick. Let me get out of here real quick. Let me get my person real quick and let me get out of here."
Stay safe.
Real talk. So like, I think sometimes, and listen, maybe this could be his Fergie moment in what's it like 03. There was times in like 02, 03 they started saying, "Oh, is Ferguson washed?"
03 to 06.
And then Ronaldo's and Rooney's and came and stuff. But I don't see no Ronaldos. I don't see no Rooney's coming out of Manchester City right now. And listen, bro, it's mad because you think of Pep and he's such a legend. But Jose was a legend. Wenger was a legend. Fergie Cruyff was a legend. Van Gaal was a legend.
This has happened to people before. Football goes in cycles. And one of the things I've always praised Manchester City on is, if you look at how that club was built into the Premier League, they always looked ahead. Before Pep even came, they prepared for Pep's coming. The signings, everything, the infrastructure. The question I'm thinking to myself now is, are they preparing for their next cycle and saying, listen, right now, not we're tanking, but okay, we messed up this one. But next season or in 2 years' time, we're going to build everything with the pillars that we have.
I think that's what last year was. I think this year, over the last couple of weeks, it's only really hit them that, all right, we might not be able to get back to immediately what we were. But I also think the recruitment, as you kind of touched on as well, I think over the past like 2 years, 6 or 7 years ago, City used to be able to go out there and there was a bracket of talent that you could still tap into and get, whether it was the Sanes, whether it was the De Bruynes, whether it was the Sterlings. You knew these guys for the next 6-7 years. Now you're banking on and signing players that you hope almost take that next step, whether it's a Marmoush, a Husanov, Vitor Rice and all those players, Nico Gonzalez, and you're thinking, these aren't those kind of bona fide stars that you know are going to come in and push City or carry on that kind of tradition after they've gone. Like when Fernandinho left, Rodri came in straight after, and it was like he didn't skip a beat. But and that's what it felt like at City for like 7 or 8 years, where no matter who left, the next man up,
every
Sane
was
goes,
a hit.
Mahrez is right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was no skipping a beat. Whereas now it's like oh, and they've stumbled into good ones like Semenyo and Guehi, which I do think are good signings. But the thing need more of those. And even Semenyo and Guehi, let's be honest, they need to prove themselves at this level still.
I was gonna say, like, when you're talking about like replacements, Company goes or whoever goes and Diaz comes in, first season looks like the part. Every signing that Pep made hits, not every that hits the ground, but every signing that Pep's made, you never felt like there was misses, because even if they struggled, the rest of the quality of the team will carry them until they're ready, right? Now you're looking at someone like Guehi, and this is no disrespect to Guehi because I rate Guehi and he's doing well and he's going to start in for England and stuff, but he ain't better than Saliba. He ain't better than Gabriel and stuff. And it used to feel like when City sign, they're signing. Now, it doesn't mean they're signing world classes, but it felt like, damn, City. It felt like City were operating on a different scouting market.
Yeah.
You know, it always felt like City were in a different scouting market.
They never got
the best talents from everywhere.
Yeah, and now it just feels like they're back.
They're shopping in the same.
Scouting.
They left Waitrose and came back to Tesco.
They're scouting where we scouting.
Yeah.
Like they're scouting where we're scouting. They're scouting where Chelsea is scouting. We all want the same players now. You know what I mean? Like, we all want the same guys.
Even Semenyo and Guehi, let's be honest, bro. They weren't primarily City targets.
Yeah, exactly.
The City just came in and went,
We'll have some of
let
that.
me get involved in on some of this, you know what I mean? Like,